Beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy. Beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy. Beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy. Beautiful. Good morning, Facebook family. What's going on? It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist, Lahla-Hadiya, back again for another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. Boy, boy. I need it. I need a theme song. I need a theme song. Somebody try to make me a theme song. Y'all looking at me like, yo, you a singer and you don't got your own theme song. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Y'all know the drill. Let me see those thumbs ups, those hearts, those happy faces. Let me know you guys are awake on Tough It Out Tuesday. Ready to get your day started if you haven't already. Happy to be alive and breathing. And just having another chance to do it right, do it better, or do it at all. So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my co host, my beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous mommy. Let me see if she is ready. Hey, beautiful. Yes, you are. You are so gorgeous. How are you?
You are beautiful. You look so beauty. You look prettyful. That's what Layla used to say when she was a little baby. You prettyful.
I hope so, because
And
last night was a long one.
a royalty. You
Thank
see my queen background? How you like it?
Well, you got to move your sign for
What
us to
sign?
see your background.
Okay. And of course, you're awesome.
Thank
You are
you.
awesome.
You're awesome
La la,
too.
here it is. Now I'm trying to see if I'm on your watch party. I'm trying something.
The watch party
It
says watch party.
says watch party. So
Yes,
that makes that kind of yeah, okay.
that's the only way I could describe it.
Mm.
Hey,
But
beautiful
I
First Lady
no
Moore. How are you? So, this is what I call Tough It Out Tuesdays for my children because on Mondays, they're like a little groggy when they wake up. Well, except the two little ones. We usually play gospel music. We have a gospel playlist that we play for our next to the youngest that we've been playing for her since she was 3, something like that. And we just add to it. Um, but I think we're going to have to start chopping some of the songs because her get ready time is like almost an hour and a half. So just so she can get through all the music. But we usually play gospel music in the morning, and so she's usually fine. The baby's usually fine, but my older children are usually like they rolling over all groggy and stuff because it's a Monday and they want to continue with their weekend. And so they make it through Monday, and then Tuesday is just like, oh my God, we still doing this thing. And so I call it Tough It Out Tuesdays. And I literally, I don't know, for those of you who were here in the beginning when we talked about the back to school and what everybody was doing, I actually I put a goodie bag because I like transformed my whole entire dining room into a learning board or center for the children. They're all in different parts of the house, but that's the first wall that they get to when they come out to get their breakfast. And so I have little prayers on the wall that I stick on there on a daily. Just sayings, phrases. You can do it. You're awesome. You're amazing. And then I give them these little baggies, which are like their little medicine for the day, just to get them through the day. My mother does not like that term, but it's just, just to give them a little pick me upper. And so sometimes it could be a bag of chips, sometimes it could be some organic 100% fruit juice, gummy bears or gummy worms, or a lollipop or a piece of candy, something, a mint, to kind of, get them moving again. So I usually write little notes. Yes, child. Yeah, my nights are long because I usually write little notes and stuff for them, so that when they get their baggie, that it has a little empowerment on it. So today is Tough It Out Tuesday overall on the board, but I'll, based on their personality, I'll write something to them. So, to you guys, happy Tough It Out Tuesday. We are almost to hump day. So, keep toughing it out. You can do it. You're a winner. You're awesome. This is all a part of the process in building your empire. How about that? So, good morning to all my celebrities in the building. I say hi to one of them, Miss First Lady Moore. You know, I love calling out my celebrities. I know some amazing, some famous people, yeah? They famous. They are famous. So today's topic, we're still at on week 2 of building an empire. But today I want to talk about what support looks like. What does support look like? Um,
Me?
in Of course, yes, you're very supportive. You really are. You really are. Support comes in all different shapes and sizes, and doesn't always look the same. It doesn't always look the way you expect it to look, but it's important for you to be able to recognize it, because there are also things out there that aren't support. And it is important for you to grab hold of, rub shoulders with, stand next to, get in the huddle of those who are actually supportive of the gift that God has implanted in you, and the journey that you're on. Some offer moral support, some offer financial support, some offer knowledge support, and some just offer knowing somebody that knows somebody support, But all the same, it's all support. And you should not be ashamed to accept it. And I'm speaking, and I'm not speaking to myself anymore, but I probably would be a couple of years ago because um, I'm a Leo and I'm very much independent.
Very much Leo.
Very, I am everything that you ever knew of a Leo. That is me. And so I I'm very independent, and it was always difficult for me to accept support. Like I was always the one being supportive to other people, and but it was always difficult for me to accept support. And then someone said something to me a few years ago, and I started to look at myself different. And I started to realize that I was selfish. That was actually being selfish because I expected people to accept the support that I gave, which was genuine. But I expected them to accept it. I expected them, and I even encouraged in some instances where people shied away due to pride or, I don't know, just mainly just pride. I would always be there like, hey, I'm there for you. Like sometimes people need somebody. Like, don't feel ashamed that I'm doing this and I'm not doing this for, anything to come back to me. Like just the joy of knowing that you made it over that hump or that obstacle is enough repayment for me. And I would say all those things to people, and then people would say, there would be certain people who would say those things to me. And I'd be like, no, I'm good. Really, I'm good. That was selfish. That was selfish of me because I felt like I felt like I was high enough to offer that to someone else, but not humble enough to accept it from someone. Right?
Keyword.
Humble,
Keyword.
humility, and so I had to learn that yes, don't block your blessings.
Mm.
I had to learn that that everybody needs some type of support, and God intended for relationship to be in existence, and in relationship, it's not always just husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. In relationship, period, with people that you come across or that you encounter or that your lives intercept during your journey. There are some people who, we talked about this, who are strategically positioned and placed in order to shine a light on it, shine a light on your path, offer assistance in gaining tools to make it through your journey or make it to the next level. Some act as stairway, um, in order for you to step up to the next level. And so You don't exactly, Vanita, what's up? That's my other celebrity. You don't want to block your blessings because of pride. You don't want to block your blessings because of pride. And you also want to be aware of what support really looks like so that you can sift out, you know, those things that are not support, that they're just there to, um, you know, suck the life out of your gift. They're there to make themselves feel better by making you feel worse. Um, you have to know what that looks like because a lot of times people aren't able to recognize it. And if you don't develop that type of skin and that, and you don't put on that armor and those lenses to be able to see that, then you'll find yourself in a deeper struggle than necessary trying to reach the goal because you feel like you can't do it because you were told it probably can't be done. So it's necessary. Hey, Ayana, it's necessary for you to understand what that looks like. So that's what we're going to talk about today, right, Mama?
Oh, right, right, right. I'm glad you said
Support,
that. That's a good segue.
support,
We're talking about support. Support.
support.
I have in front of me, besides these two cans of collard greens that are supporting my little stand with my
Why you got cans of collard greens, country
those
girl?
they are supporting. But no, seriously, I have three things in front of me that are my support. I've talked very often about this. If you can see that, it's a mirror. And my mirror is a support for me. And it actually says inscribed on it, beauty with a purpose, beauty with a purpose. So there's a purpose to beauty. You know, God loves beauty. So if my beauty is not enhancing someone else, if it's not uplifting someone else, no more than for someone to look and see sunshine when they see beauty in me, you know, so that's the support for me to know that I'm supporting someone else. The other thing is my confidence cards. One of the organizations that I'm affiliated with um, has confidence cards, and it's like a deck of cards. And each day I pull from the deck a means of confidence. And this one today says, I allow my overflow of blessings to overtake me because I am worth receiving it. And I know I'm worth it because God said so. Okay. So that's number two. And the first thing, the very, very first thing, even before the mirror talk, is to read my daily. I have several books that I refer to, but this one today for September 15th says a fresh current of hope, a fresh current. And I'm just going to read the scripture that springboards into all of the support that I will get, that I'm getting for this day. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit, you may abound in hope. And that's Romans 15:13. My support, my support. I tell you the truth, as Jesus would say. When I read those words, they are so encouraging to me, and it gives me an overflow that I am able to pour into someone else. So my support is flowing into the universe, into whomever comes in contact with me, my support. So everything else after that, you know, it's a given. It's a given. Positivity, people, circumstances, even in the dire circumstances that we encounter from day to day, you know, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. So I am supported. Before I can support anyone else, I have to support me. And there you have the three basic things that I use daily to support me so that I can support someone else. Amen.
Amen. And knowing what that looks like, in supporting yourself, because it's true. My mom always tells me when I'm running out of hands and I'm running out of bodies to be every place at the same time,
Mm,
because I'm not the Lord, I'm not God. She always tells me, you got to take care of yourself, or you won't be able to take care of anybody else. And,
there it
and
is.
knowing what that looks like, knowing what it looks like to support yourself. So wait a minute, I got to take a pause. Crystal, what's going on? I hope you got my stuff. Being intentional about you first. Absolutely. Welcome, another celebrity in the building. I hope you got the information that I sent you. Girl, that was up all night. um, but yes, being intentional about you, and being intentional about you requires you to use discernment, Vanita. Yes, when you're dealing
And
with or when you're
yes.
encountering those who come clothed in sheep's clothing, and that requires you to do just what the word says, and that's study to show
Mm,
myself approved unto God, a workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And that can go a long way. You study people, you
absolutely.
study situations, you study things. Like, it's not just about the word of God. God will show you and give you and allow signs and symbols to be present during your journey, to guide you in the direction in which you're supposed to go. And there'll be many people along the sidelines who profess to be supporters of you, but they're dressed up in sheep's clothing, only to just get attached to you. A lot of people want to jump on. Back in the day, I don't know, maybe this was just in the hood. Back in the day, when people wanted to get up the block or something like that, and then like a pickup truck or ice cream truck was driving by, they hop on the back, just to hitch a ride, and without, unbeknowing of the person who was actually driving, that they were connected. Some people would hop on. I know in Brooklyn, my husband said they would hop on the back of metro buses. You know what I'm saying, to get up the block. Those are long blocks in New York, so they will hop on the back of metro buses, and a lot of times unbeknowing of the driver. So you have to be very careful and very intentional about you, about your surroundings, about what's being poured into you, about what's being laid on you, what's being prayed over you. My daddy used to say, "You don't let everybody pray for you. They pray you right in the hell." Like, you are very intentional about yourself, so that you can be very effective when you become
Mm,
a support system for someone else, right? And you know what it
absolutely.
looks like, so you can be that thing. So I you know I, I've become very vigilant of those hitchhikers. Call them hitchhikers, um, because there's a difference between someone who truly admires the light that you glow of, or glow in, or shine in. There's a difference between those and those that are just like, yo, I'm along for the ride. Like, I don't gotta do nothing. I just hop on to her and get where I need to go. You know, and they can become, if not careful, they can become many, and then become weights, and they begin to weight you down, and then not only weight you down, but they begin to be the voice, the substitute, the substitute voice for the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, telling you, keep pushing. Okay, now we're approaching this hill. I need you to widen your stride, because you got to get up the hump. They
Mm,
become the substitute for that voice, and they're like, "Yo, you think you can do that?" Like, I would, I just like, shoot. You might as well just go the other way, because I don't see that happening. Before you know it, those persons have attached themselves to you, and they've become the voice. I have one more example. If you have ever been in, well, hopefully you guys haven't had to call the police often, but if you, I remember having to call the police, because of a situation that was going on in my neighborhood, when my daughter was younger. My oldest daughter was younger, and I lived in Hyattsville. And so, for those of you who know, Hyattsville has their own police, but they're inside of PG County. So, there's PG County Police. And so, when you would call 911, you would hear Prince George's County Police Department pick up, and then there would be an interception. And Hyattsville Police would be like, Hyattsville Police, how may I help you? And they would intercept the call. And so I give that example because a lot of times when we allow these leeches to attach themselves to us, and they are along for the ride, they become more than just a weight. They start intercepting the call. They start intercepting the message. So
Mm.
where you'll say, God, can I really make this? And he'd be like, yeah. And he begins to talk, or the Holy Spirit begins to talk, and there goes that interception. And like, yo, man, I wouldn't even do it. Like, that's too much. Like, that's like you doing that, all that for them. They can do that. Then you begin to hear the interception, and they start pouring in negative things, to keep you from the next level of your journey. So you have to be aware. You have to study everything that you are a part of, that you're into, that you pass by, every situation. You have to be able to study it. And in order to effectively study, it requires you having the teacher a lot of times with you, asking questions of the professor. We talked seasons ago about having that constant communication with your creator, the one who already knows the lesson. He already knows the lesson. He already knows what it is that you need to do to get where you need to get. So as you're studying situations, atmospheres, encounters, even walking into the grocery store and somebody says, hey, God, they say, hey, what's going on, God? Is this an interaction I'm supposed to have right now? You should not be afraid to have constant communication with the one who is looking over the whole entire blueprint, who created the blueprint. So there should never, every moment of your day, you should etch out some time, or just be in casual, if you stay in casual conversation with the person that we call our friend. We sing that song, so bold, I am a friend of God, he calls me friend. I don't know no friend that they say they my friend that I can't call them and reach out to them when I need them. I don't know no friend that, if I say, I'm struggling with this right here, what do you think about this? That they're not going to be able to be there for me, or have the desire to be there for me and give me genuine counsel. So if we call God our friend, and we acknowledge that he is ours, then you have to stand with the confidence that he's going to be there to guide you through your journey. So there should never be a time when you're not talking to him. Like, people laugh at me. I remember my praise team when we were the pre-pandemic, and we would pray, and I would be like, Daddy, and they would laugh and say like, yo, listening to loud pray. And I'm like, yo, like, there are times when I'm formal with him, because he deserves that. There are also times when I'm like, Daddy, I just need my dad. I just need my dad. I used to tell my mother all the time, Ma, I don't want first lady. I don't want first lady when you answer this question. Just give me mommy. Just give me mommy. When you answer this question, just give me mommy. And that's how I am. Like, I'm the same. God knows I'm the same person. I'm the same person. I don't switch up. So there are times when I'm talking to him and I'm like, Daddy, okay, they still talking. Like, am I supposed to walk away, or is it something I'm supposed to pour into this? Or are they supposed to be, am I supposed to open my ears a little wider because it's something that they telling me that I need along my journey? I begin to ask those questions, like, literally, sometimes out loud. Sometimes out loud. People hear me say it, but I be like, there you go. Like, is this it? And I'd be like, how are you? And they probably think I got split personalities. But sometimes I have to ask it out loud to my dad, just to make sure that the encounter is worth it. The encounter is worth the conversation past hello, or good morning, queen, or how are you, king. Um, or if it's one of those, yes, I am the connector. Like, we talked yesterday, We had Bible study with the kids, and so we were talking about am I my brother's keeper, and I said absolutely. One of the questions was, who do you think God has specifically assigned to you, or do you think God specifically assigns people to you? And I said absolutely. I am my brother's keeper, so everyone who I encounter who needs assistance, it should be in my general spirit to want to help. But I do also recognize I'm not capable of helping every type of person. That is why relationship is important, because there are people that God has allowed me to intercept lives with along the way that is the perfect fit for what you're going through. And so a lot of times people will reach out to me because of my personality, and they'll say, like, I know you know. And I have to ask myself before I even jump into that, before I get myself in too deep and I start talking myself into circles, or spitting off, just blowing smoke. Am I the one for this person? Is this the encounter that you have ordained for me? Have you assigned this person to me, or am I just the connector? Because there have been many times I'll be like, I got the perfect person you need to speak to. And I'll say, hey, I'm going to reach out to them, but make sure you reach out to them, because I'm going to reach out to them and let them know you're coming. Or even in certain situations, I'll say, they're going to give you a call. This is their name. Don't look at them like they crazy when you see the number pop through, but I need you to talk to them. There have been many people on this show that have connected, and now they stay connected even outside of me because of being the connector and even having this show and creating the space where people can find the people that are necessary for their journey. So you have to be aware of that. You have to open your eyes to that and always ask for wisdom so that you know, because sometimes the weight comes from us picking up things that we shouldn't pick up, or holding on to things that we were supposed to pass over to someone else. But because we were asked to pick it up, because God, ordained us to be the one to first encounter them, we think we're supposed to take on that. And then we feel weighted and we don't understand why. Because it's unnecessary weight. You have to continue the direction. When God gives you a direction, you listen to the entire task, the entire direction. Don't just hear the first step and make a run for it, like some children so often do. You go into telling them something, and then you get past the first phrase, and then they gone ready. I was about to, but you didn't even finish. You didn't even hear everything, And so sometimes we have extra weight because we don't hear the whole entire direction that God is saying. Yes, it was necessary for you to rub shoulders with this person, but you were supposed to introduce them to them. So the weight wouldn't have been as heavy if you had followed my instruction. So understanding what support looks like, understanding what support you're supposed to be. What you got, mommy? I see you smirking. I see you smirking with another celebrity hairstylist
Ooh,
extraordinaire, loctician, Angie.
I
What's
tell
going
you
on?
the truth, Lordy. There's so much, and there's so much, and I made the mistake of not having my little pad. I usually have a pen and pad nearby, and I have the pen, but I don't have the pad. I was about to write on my napkin some key points, some several things you mentioned. Um, when I think of support, well, let me back up a little bit, rewind. Back in the day, I taught this course. It wasn't a course, it was a group of kids, talented and gifted, so they said. Um, and the idea of the teach kids or to encourage children to think outside the box. Most children, a lot of kids do that anyway. So the the idea was to encourage that, you know. Um, so one of the things we did was building structures. And I found out during that time, well, it was confirmed that the strongest support for a structure is a triangle, a triangle. And when you think about support, when I think about support, I think in terms of a triangle. A lot of organizations, the Masonic Lodge, on your dollar bill, money, you see the symbol of the triangle, and many people have many things to read into that. However, I think of it as uh, the triangle as support. Think about it. The base of that triangle, you have two sides that are planted on the foundation, on the bottom, and leading to a point. Okay, last evening I was watching, you know how these videos come across, you know, your Facebook or what have you, and there was this incident which I will not get into. Another incident of a police officer stopping a black young man, and and it happened to have been a female officer. And I noticed this. I've noticed this many times before. If and maybe you've noticed that oftentimes when police officers approach, and their first thing is to spread their legs. You know, they're standing flat-footed. I
Their
guess that's why they
police
call them
stance.
flat-footed
The police
police
stance.
officers. But anyway, so they're standing like on their base, on their foundation. And when you think about it, that is like giving them that initial support of whatever is to come. Flat-footed, feet apart, okay? And so
And
again,
it's
in
like
terms of the triangle being the base for foundation, I think of it also as me being flat-footed but centered, pointing towards heavens. Okay, again, you know, churchy, but it's real. Um, my foundation is, you know, is planted on solid ground, and facing towards the heavens, which is towards my creator. You know, and all things, even the scripture that I read this morning, Romans 15, 13, you know, it addresses that in terms of our hope. When and when you're pointed towards a target, you know, and you keep your eyes on that prize, then anything that comes upon you, and as La mentioned, that there are going to be many situations, people, and they come in all shapes and sizes, colors, and what have you, that will attempt. Maybe they're not. Maybe the intention is not to distract you, but it does in many cases. So when you're centered, when you keep your eyes on the prize and you're centered and you're on a solid foundation, it gives you more credibility in terms of whatever it is, your hopes, your dreams, your goals, what have you, to stay focused on that. I often tell my kids, stay focused, stay focused. La mentioned something that I always, you know, and I'll always be the bad guy because grandma's going to always check and balance everything, or not everything, or everything I can catch when kids do certain things. And one of the things La learned early on, even though I'm her mom, I'm her parent, when I'm in the teaching mode and the classroom mode, and many times when she had visited my classroom, she found out that, you know, I was going to be that, you know, on target in terms of, you know, it's no big eyes, little U's, or whatever, how the thing, I forgot how that goes. But anyway, you know, I'm going to be on target.
big
I'm
eyes,
going to
little
keep it
you.
real. You know, and my kids, that was my middle name in the classroom. Keep it real. Let's keep it real. See, because, you know, that's the only way to stay focused.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to my grandkids, and Lau mentioned this, and you can tell them something or you can ask them something before you get the last,
They
even before the
pew.
period in the sentence, they've jumped in there and they're ready, you know. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hold it. So immediately grandma becomes the bad guy because, you
There
know, I'm
you
going to
go.
check you. My grandson, my youngest grandson, bless his heart, he just doesn't know, and he probably won't know until I'm a vapor, you know,
That
in the
a
air.
vapor.
He
We're not making you
he
a
won't. He
vapor.
doesn't know how much grandma loves him. I told him one day. I said, you know, we had these little talks, you know, and I said to him, you just don't know how much I really love you. Because if I didn't love you, I'd let you go get away with all the stuff and anything, you know. But because I do, I'm gonna check you. Because guess what? Nobody really loves you but your mama. And sometimes your grandma. And I happen to be one of those grandmas that love you. So when you get out into the real world and you do dumb stuff, nobody gonna say, "Oh, that's Miss Castro's son. Oh, that's grandma. That's Mama Lou's son, grandson." They ain't gonna say that. They don't care. They don't care that much about you, if at all. So the thing is to stay focused. When I tell you these things, you can take it to the bank and you can cash it if you choose to. So, staying focused is a sure thing when it comes to being supportive, accepting support. When someone's telling you something, you listen and then you sort it out. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take everything face value, everything everybody says. But that's where the real education comes. And I tell them, you know what? I consider myself a smart student, been straight A's all through school and all that stuff. Pat me on the back, yeah. However, the thing that really makes me smart is the fact when I don't know something, I know how to go and look and
Yeah,
search and lurk and whatever it takes to find out.
that's what I.
And that's what makes a wise person.
Yeah,
Okay. And we know who's the author of wisdom. So, you know, support is so very important. We've been talking about building an empire. When you're building an empire, you know what really amazes me is the pyramids in Egypt. The pyramids in Egypt. How our people built those pyramids. They didn't have all of the modern conveniences and contraptions and machinery and all that. They built them with their bare hands. Does that tell you something? And look at the foundation. Look at how those pyramids are made. And guess what? They're still
yeah. I was
standing.
about to say a lot.
They're still standing.
Yes,
Y'all gonna make me shout this morning because support is so important. When I think about the support that I've gotten over the years, it encourages me to continue with that support and reaching out to others and giving support. That's all I want to do this side of my life, really, really. For the rest, that's what I want to do is support, encourage, and whatever I can do to help you to grow stronger, to grow wiser. I'm here. I'm here for it. Um,
and
let
like
me
my
sit down.
mama used to say, "Don't take no wooden nickels."
There you go.
I say that to my children all the time.
There
And
you
one
go.
day, the same grandson, my baby son goes, "Mommy, what in the world does that mean?"
He's the one. There's always one in every family.
Always,
He's the one.
always.
He's
And
the one.
so,
Law was the one in our family.
I,
She was the one.
why
She's the one.
put me out there like that? I was learning. I
She's the
asked
one.
questions. I asked questions because asking questions and research makes a wise person, right? Isn't that what you just said?
But don't play those folks cheap, the ones who don't ask questions. She and her brother, they call themselves twins. And
Yes,
I
man.
get it. I get it. Over the years I was like, huh? Y'all are so different. But you know what? That's what make them twins because it's like yin and yang. It's like opposites attract. And those two, the two of them, you talk about a powerful force. When I talk about my Israel experience and all the things that we went through and still survived it, I think about it, and I've shared this. I could never have done it without the grace of God, and of course, these two pillars, these two bookends, La and her brother. Um, he is like the
The gentle giant.
subdued one, the quiet.
And I'm
You
the
know,
Rottweiler.
La had this dog. La had this dog named Diamond. Was it Diamond?
Yes.
And Latif had a dog named Moose. And it's so funny
Three in the
how
city, mouse.
animals take on your personality because La's dog Diamond was like he was yes sir boss yes sir he was always
Really?
he was in
He was not that energetic.
T's dog. This may sound like it's getting off track, but it's right on point. T's
Where
dog
you going with
was
this?
his personality. He was so cool. That dog, he was so cool. But don't get him wrong. Don't get him stirred up. Don't mess with Massa. Don't. And it's so funny because T and La were my bookends were such a balance. It was like the colonel and myself. My colonel was like the force. He was the, like I said, anything he didn't know, you would never know it because he would go and study and research it. And with the kids, as we were training and raising the children, it created a balance with them because we were balanced. He was the bad cop. I was a good cop.
Wait a minute, hold up.
And
Hold up. Flag on the play. Say what?
yes, yes.
In your eyes,
But I tell you the
I told you
truth.
that.
I tell you the truth. That again, support. When it comes to support, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's on a job, whether it's in the world, whether it's in church, matters not where you are. That support should be the same in terms of the base, the foundation that is laid, the foundation. And then, of course, pointing towards your source of strength, pointing towards your source of strength. And, I take joy in that. I really take joy in that when it comes to building the support in a village,
Mm.
building the support in a business. You know, I learned early on also that, you're as strong as the weakest link.
Yeah,
If you're in an organization, if you're in a business, an empire, you're as strong as the people you have around you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My dad used to say with my mom, he'd say, you know what? And he was a laborer. He worked three jobs any given time and put in time, put in the work with his family. And he would say, a man he could work and work and bring in millions, but if he has a woman that pitches it out as fast
As
as
soon
he
as we
brings
bring
it
it
in,
in,
it's a loss. So there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance.
absolutely. It has to be a balance. And even just like when I want to get to this because I want to make sure I'm saying it right because all these years you said it to me and I tried to give my definition of what it meant. And so I can't put stuff out to the people and make little profound statements and not give them the definition behind it and it be correct.
Why am I laughing?
So I just want to make sure all these years that I got it right. Don't take any wooden nickels. Nickels aren't wooden, right? So
Come on.
the saying "don't take any wooden nickels" means don't take anything false, anything unreal, anything not genuine.
Wolves in sheep's clothing.
That
It could be
right there.
anything.
Hey, so
Dress.
I did get it right. Cause Lord knows
You got it right.
I was growing up with that phrase, and I was like, I hope
Happy, happy,
this
joy,
is what
joy.
this meant, cause that's what I thought. But yeah,
That's
I tell my
that's
children
right.
that all the
Everything,
time.
everything that glitters is
Is
not gold.
exactly.
For real, for real.
And so, in building and all of this, we laugh and we joke about it, and we talk candid about it. But honestly, like my mom said, in building an empire, when you look at what empires actually, what actual empires, pyramids, what they look like, the strength of them, and how they are actually the architect of them, how they're actually formed, and how they stand. Says a lot about how we should figuratively and literally build our empire.
Mm,
Because at any given time, you are the support, and at any given time, you are being supported. And
mm.
it's necessary to make sure that the support beam that you're standing on or that you're about to step on the shoulders of is secure,
Yes,
and real,
absolutely.
and not false, and not something that you think is a support beam, but it
Mm,
really isn't. So
mm,
you don't go tumbling. And
mm.
even being that support beam, you have to make sure that you are planted correctly so as to be able to effectively support.
On solid ground. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness.
Absolutely.
All other ground is sinking sand. Hmm,
And so
check it out.
if you live by that notion alone,
Absolutely.
then you
Absolutely.
can, along with all the other steps of building an empire.
Mm.
I actually believe this is the most important,
Oh, gotta be. Yes.
because you're talking about support. You're talking about what holds you. You're talking about what's going to make what is not going to give way as you are stepping on it, to get to the next level, as you
Absolutely.
are moving across it to get across to the other side. Like, this is the one of the most important things that you need to think about and secure off the break when talking about building an empire. Because if your foundation is shaky, then I don't
Mm.
care how tall you get, I don't care how big you get, I don't care how known you become. I don't
Mm.
care how much it looks like you've gained from starting this business, or um, being able to speak here or speak there. I don't care what you go through. If the foundation is
Absolutely.
shaky, all of that is subject to crumble,
It's for no. It's a
non-existent, a
waste.
matter of seconds.
It's that's what it
Of
is.
seconds.
You know, and it's so interesting is when you think about what you just said. I've known in my lifetime many organizations, many groups that, they started from ground level and they built, but they were not on a solid foundation. And that is to say, many people even now who start these groups and organizations with false intentions, false people, and conniving, false resources. It used to back. There was a saying, with a lot of the drug mothers who, a lot of the movies you see. I don't want that blood money. You know what I'm saying? It's accepting funding falsely. It may survive for a little bit, because God allows. It's only what God allows, and He may allow you just so you can see, just as a lesson learned, to get to a certain point. And I tell you, that fall is a lot harder when the higher up you are and you fall. And that's why I've said very often, with everything that's transpiring with our leadership in the government, I've said, you know what, God, God is just given enough rope. And this was another saying, given enough rope to hang
So
himself. I believe that. Also, God has given you more opportunities to get it right, and you're still, flubbing up, you still messing up, you still cheating, you're still conniving, you're still doing everything but
manipulative.
being righteous,
Hmm.
you know. And God will he'll give you what you beg for sometimes, just to let you know, okay, now you want to do it the right way. And then a lot of parents, even as a parent, there were times when, there's a certain point in time in your children as they're growing into teenagerism and young adultism, and they're growing. And I used to wonder, what is it about kids when they get a certain age they know more than the parents? Of course, of course, Lahla-Hadiya was an exception to the rule. But
I wasn't bad,
what
yeah.
is it? Am I the only one who see this or who saw this? That when kids get to, even the grandkids, I said, hey, wait
Kids
a
say
minute.
yes,
At
mama.
what point did you get smarter than me? Not saying that I know everything, but am I the only one who's seen this where kids, you show them where to go, they show you how to get there? That's another saying. And it's true. So, I listen. Listen, listen and learn. Listen and learn. But that's the other thing with our kids, and it all points back to building the foundation, the right solid foundation with our kids, letting them know it's okay to be wrong. It's okay not to have everything right from the start. But what makes you really a dilly dally is when you get something wrong and you don't try to correct it.
Yeah.
You continue to dwell in the wrong. Oh, I'm right. You're gonna make right out of wrong. And there's some kids, some adults, because kids grow into adult if they live long enough, right? So there's some people who, no matter how wrong they are, you can't convince them. And I dare say, I don't even think that's the case with our leadership in our government. I just think that there was missing a missing ingredient somewhere along the way at the beginning. But yes, the thing is, in building foundation and building support and being a support to our children, we are not being a support when we encourage um, wrongness, when we encourage them in ways that we know within our heart, our gut level, that it's not right. But because that's my baby girl and that's my baby boy, that's my little princess, that's my little prince, and I love him. I love my child. I love my child. Well, love is doing the right thing. Okay. And that's where, as a teacher, and I would often say this to my parents, because my parents were my foundation. I would bring my parent in as a part of my curriculum, automatic part.
Mhm.
I would say to them, you have got to be, it's called tough love.
Yeah.
Tough love. I promise you, tough love. And I would say, even in my situation with my family, I'll be the bad guy. I used to tell my grandkids when I did grandma summer camp, I'll be the bad guy. I'm tough as nails. I hate me right now, but I know you'll love me in the
Okay.
end, because you'll realize, and ask my little grandson. We had a nice talk. It was actually at Layla's graduation, and he sat down on the little stool like a little old man. He said, Grandma, I, I need to talk to you. And that little guy sat there and articulated everything, that pretty much a track record of things that had
Yeah.
transpired between he and I
He had been
over a
working up to
period
that
of,
conversation.
and that was our conversation.
He
And
was
you know what, I'll take
exercising
that
up to that.
conversation to my grave, because it meant so much to me. And where, when you get to a point where even your kids, and I've talked about these kids that get to a certain age and they know everything, da, 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 but when they are able to come to you, that's the part where train up a child in the way they to go, and when they're old, they will not depart. And doesn't say that they're not going to stray this way, that way, but eventually they're going to come back to the fold.
Hmm.
That's the part. My dad, one of the last conversations we had before he transitioned was, he said, "You know what? I'm proud of you. You've really done well. You've done well. You've done well in school. You've been respectful to your mom and me. And I can count, my kids don't believe this lie, doesn't believe.
Because they
I can
try
count on one
to
hand and have
do it
fingers left over. True story of the whippings and the beatings that I got.
while you spoiled now.
Now I would play it out. I would play it out. See, my dad had this thing.
Watch
My
you
dad had this,
spoil.
and this is still we talk about support. So I'm not getting off too far. My dad had a belt, and I planned it down to the last notch before he got it out of the loops. And I was like, pew! I'll sit there and doing whatever, whatever, whatever. But there was that one time when I had the audacity to sit in the vehicle beside him, front seat, passenger seat, and pop my lips, and I said something, and all I remember is stars. Like on the cartoons where tweet, 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 and the stars shine. I saw stars. And that was the only, hey, it convinced me. For me, that was support. That, done. I'm done.
I was
I'm
with
telling
you,
y'all
Mama.
too
I was
much.
following. It just came out a little weird for me. I was with
But that
you
one
the
right
whole
there, that
ride,
one
and
right
then
there, I'll wait till Friday. I'll wait till
I was
it
with
is
you the
not
whole ride.
saved
I
there.
promise you, I was. When we came around that curve, I was like, "Where we going with this?" Okay,
I'll wait till Friday.
come on, no, I'm not that bad.
That one
Seriously,
right there.
I'm the reason. I'm the
Oh,
the the
Jesus.
makeup for all those times that she should have got her butt whipped and she didn't get her butt whipped.
My goodness. Lord, the truth be told, she still has a lineup of whippings and so forth.
But
You
I'm
know,
a good
I don't
talker,
know if your
like
parents did this.
verbal judo.
When I beat you, it's gonna be for old and young.
Verbal judo is something I tell you. You gotta learn how to talk. You gotta learn sometimes.
That one right there. That
Sometimes you
one
gotta
right
learn
there.
how to talk yourself out of conflict. You know what I mean? I learned that.
Support.
I
Support.
learned it.
Support. Yes. Yes.
But as we actually wrap this up, guys, I know we've been laughing and joking, and laughter is good for the soul. But honestly, though, when you think of support, and I know this isn't probably what you thought it would be in terms of a conversation about what support looks like,
Mm.
and we can have those conversations. We can have that
Yeah,
conversation, get it
we
in
will.
deeper as to what types of support you should seek out. But overall, like the base of it all, you have to be strategic in, somebody said, intentional about you first, so making sure that you're planted solid so that you can, one, be a support when it's necessary,
Mm.
and then be able to have solid footing to step off and step onto the support
So
that is
important.
afforded to you.
Yes,
When
yes,
you don't
yes.
have correct footing. So my mom was talking about the police stance, and so what it is, we do, it's sort of like a square off, with your feet and your shoulders, and then you have a certain stance because it keeps you on the ready, to be
Mm,
able to move either direction, if something should happen where you have to react. And
mm,
so footing is very important. Footing is very important. And when you think of support, and speaking from yourself on up, you have to have correct footing. Because how
yeah,
many of you know, when you step off on
I
something,
agree.
and your feet aren't planted correctly,
That's
and you
true.
trip on that step and you go
That's
tumbling?
true.
And it's
That's
not
true.
because the step is not supportive, it's because you
That's
didn't have correct footing.
right. And
So
you taught me years ago as I'm aging, about being, when you stand up and my OGs help me, when you stand up and your equilibrium is not quite where it is, the best support is what? Flat footed, heel, ball of your foot. Am I correct? That gives you that solid ground,
yeah.
before you even try to take a step. But many of us, we just get on up, get on up,
You gotta think things
girl.
through. Every situation, you gotta think it through. Don't just go all willy nilly on it. Somebody said we just gotta get out of the mind frame that it's all about us. People hold their pride so much. People get stuck in that moment when you say you gotta work on yourself first. People get stuck there, and then it becomes everything that's up. Everything that comes after that is always about me, me, me.
That's
It's
real
it's
talk right
it's
there.
it's
You're
just
right.
the stepping stool. You gotta get yourself together. You gotta get some
Don't
of the
stay
knowledge
there.
and the wisdom inside of you so that you can begin to
Exactly.
move and start spreading out, and start planting those seeds and start watering those seeds.
Mm,
So yes, it does start with you,
mm-hmm.
but it shouldn't just stay there. The key word
Mm-mm.
is relationship. There's
Mm,
always relationship involved in the growth process, and
right.
it starts with your relationship with knowing who you are, your relationship with yourself, and in knowing who you are, in that relationship you begin to understand whose you are, and then you develop that relationship with the creator, the one who created you and created it all. And after you
Absolutely.
do that, then the charge is to go out and develop
Mm-hmm.
relationships, create relationship, because those relationships are necessary in the process of becoming. They're
Yeah.
necessary for your journey, because again, it's not about you. It's not about us at all. It's
Right.
not about us. So it's beyond us, which means that if God says the relationship is necessary in this thing called life, that once we learn ourselves and we learn who we are and we learn whose we are, then we can now begin to have an effective relationship, effective and effective relationship with others, to get to our next level, and so that they can get to their next level. So you're absolutely right, getting out of the
Exactly.
mindset of just being all about yourself, all about yourself. That gets you nowhere, gets you nowhere at all.
And and Vanita said early on about faith being about people talk about having faith, but faith without works is what?
Dead.
Kaput. With that faith has a lot to do with your solid foundation. You know, my hope is built on nothing less. Yeah,
So
there's some good talk here.
it's good, man. That's all I got though.
Ah, what? What?
Let me stop lying. I got a whole
Mm-mm-mm.
bunch more, but I gotta follow the rules. Cause it's not all about me. I gotta follow the rules. Cause if it was about me, we
What?
still be talking.
Say what?
I gotta follow the rules. Good morning, Crystal. How are you, Queen? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, like that's all
Mm.
I got for you today. But just
I
keep that
love
in
y'all.
mind. I love you too. I love y'all too. Y'all awesome.
Love you with the love of the Lord. I tell
Y'all
you
be
the
real funny though,
truth.
man, because y'all be laughing at my mama jokes and she be throwing low key shade on me. Y'all be laughing.
That's my baby,
That
though.
makes y'all shady too.
Me and you must never monkey da da.
You about to make me go watch Color Purple. Actually, I can't. I gotta put on my cape and be a teacher today.
We used to
Um,
watch that every Sunday, remember?
every Sunday,
After
man.
church.
Maybe that's why I act like this. I don't know.
I think
This shows you.
you just popped that in my head. You see how influence is? I'm going to watch Color Purple today. Mm. After I read some more chapters
I'm
in
gonna
Jerrell's
watch
book.
Roots. That's what I'm gonna watch. So anyway, guys, y'all know I love you. That's why we bring this information day after day.
I
You know,
love
he
you.
loves you.
I
You know,
love
and you
Gumbo.
know I gotta love you because all this good wisdom right here, I could be keeping for myself, but I don't. You know, I think it's so
Woo.
necessary to share because, like, yo, when if y'all win, I win, I still win. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to keep this bottled up because there's going to be a point where God be like, yo, I gave you the opportunity to do what was necessary
That's
and you didn't. So, like, now she coming with me,
no,
you
no
know?
excuse. No, don't ever suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
Don't suffer in silence.
Speaking of that,
Mm.
say a
What
prayer.
happened? You
Um,
broke.
I don't know what the situation is. I guess I'll find out later. One of those things of, knowing when to pass the situation, but keep Amoba in your prayers. I think that's our guest from Egypt. Keep him in your prayers. I believe he was going through some things late last night. I was hoping he was going to be on the show, but just throw some good vibes up for him. Say a prayer for him. Throw some good positive energy out there for whatever he may be going through or facing, so that he could come back stronger and it could be a lesson learned and a testimony for someone. All right. So that's what I got for you.
That's a good.
What I got for
That's
you.
a good place to end and start.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love you. Mama Lou loves you. Most importantly, God loves us
Love
all.
you
That's why it's
guys.
important for us to get it. If you gotta replay this video, replay it, share it. Somebody needs to hear it. Love you guys. It's your
Love
girl,
you.
Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya with her beautiful, amazing 70-year-old mama, Mama Lou, wrapping up another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. It's been real. It's been awesome. Can't wait to see you guys right here in the space, bright and early 7:30 right
Oh.
here tomorrow. Until then, don't forget to walk in purpose and not just on purpose. Until then, peace out. Holla at you, girl. Mighty, classy, beautiful. Mighty, classy, beautiful. Mighty, classy, beautiful. Mighty, classy, beautiful.